Christians, I need you to come get your own people. This kind of behavior is absolutely unacceptable and honestly bizarre that it has been allowed this long. Earlier today, I went to the grocery store, and as I was sitting in the parking lot, taking a moment to look at my phone and check my notifications before going in, I hear this super loud voice, clearly using something to amplify this person's voice, talking about how all of us listening are going to hell, that we have to accept Jesus, that the judgment day is coming, all of the things that anyone who has met some random Christian dude, always a man, standing out in public, yelling at passerbys about how they're all damned and going to hell. Honestly, I haven't had this kind of thing happen to me or around me in a long time. So and again, I could hear that this person was speaking into a mic of some sort, and I couldn't believe I'm literally sitting in a parking lot in a shopping center, and who on earth thinks like the audacity to come into a public space and start yelling such things? So I get up out of my car because I am not listening to this any longer, go into the grocery store, and as I go to check out at the register, I ask the cashier, hey, there is someone in the parking lot yelling into a mic about how people listening to him are going to hell. Is there any way that we can get him to stop? Can we call some sort of security and get him to stop? Because he is absolutely a public nuisance. To make sure we're all on the same page, here is what Cornell Law School in the United States defines as a public nuisance. A public nuisance generally refers to any conduct that interferes with the rights of the public. The precise definition of public nuisance often varies by state and is embodied in civil and criminal statuses. I actually am in California, and that was the top example. So in California, where this incident happened, in California, anything which is injurious to health or is indecent or offensive to the senses or an obstruction of the free use of property so as to interfere with the comfortable enjoyment of life or property by an entire community, or neighborhood, or by any considerable number of persons, or unlawfully obstructs the free passage or use in the customary manner of any navigable lake or river, bay, stream, canal, or basin, or any public park, square, street, or highway, is a public nuisance. By any definition, I would stand strongly that that absolutely qualifies. So I go up to the register and I ask, hey, can we please call someone to get this guy to stop talking? Because it is really, really hard to be listening to this. I do not like it. I didn't say this at the time, but I was feeling incredibly unsafe and very stressed about it. I didn't want him to see me because I have had it in the past where I had to walk by someone who came to my university and stood in the middle of this very busy walkway. And as he saw me, a hijabi, walk by him, all of a sudden he was mentioning Muslims. Oh, just all of a sudden. Why do you think that is? So I didn't want this person to see me. I was feeling very unsafe, very nervous. Part of me didn't want to even leave the grocery store to go back to my car. Even though I was parked very far away and not within eyesight of this person, I was wearing this scarf, so it wasn't overly bright, but just all of the different factors of me calculating my safety and what is happening, who is watching, just all of this hyper vigilance coming out. So the cashier pointed me in the direction of the manager. The manager very quickly got someone on board. There was apparently another complaint made about this individual because, again, he's standing in a giant, very large shopping center. It wasn't just the grocery store. There's a lot of different stores. He used a whole mic, and later on, as I do finally get to, obviously I'm back home, so I do, thank God, get home safely, but I did have to drive by him unfortunately, and I did see he brought a huge speaker to make sure that he could just be projected across all of this space, taking up all this space with his hate speech. So security for the complex had been called, and again, my complaint also was added on to someone else who had complained, I think from one of the other stores. And by the time I did end up going back to my car, he was quiet. Unfortunately, I did drive by him, and honestly, ideally, I would have driven another way to get out of the parking lot, but I was so determined to just get out of there. I actually had wanted to go to a different store in the complex, and everything in me was just, I need to get out of here now. I do not feel safe, whether he's actually using the mic that he brought or not. I need to get out of here. And you know what kills me? is that I guarantee with this kind of person that they are going home and they are going to tell their church, they're going to tell their other people around them that people in the world are just so sinful and hate the truth. They are denying the truth, denying Jesus, and therefore it just shows that he is right, and this is going to show him even more so why he needs to continue pressing on to people about coming to Jesus and warning them about hellfire, because obviously he's onto something and they just hate how right he is. So going back to where I started, Christians, I know that not all of you are like this. I know this, but I have also seen in the Muslim community, as I am a part of it, we are actively going, the good Muslims, we are actively collecting our problematic people and have had to deal with 9/11 and associations with terrorism and the Taliban and all of these other groups. We actively have put out statements time and time and time again. We're collecting our people in our own private spaces. We're doing the work. I've seen the same thing in Jewish spaces. I've seen the same thing in other religious spaces. Christians, I see very few of you, and I spend a lot of time in interfaith spaces, online, in person. I see very few of you actively going out and collecting your problematic people, and these people need to be top on the list along with like Christian nationalism, which, yes, I completely agree has hijacked your religion. Believe me, I'm Muslim. I'm familiar with people, very problematic people taking over your religion and using it for their own political gains. I get it, but it is very, very, very difficult when so much of my soul tells me that I am not safe, that I need to avoid these people, that he's using the same language as you all, that is going to trigger me when I hear people say the same sorts of words, when they mention Jesus with the same accent, with the same referring to the Bible, referring to the Day of Judgment. He is using the same language as you, and that's triggering something that is unsafe and untrustworthy in my mind, and it makes me very, very hard to relate to you and see you as like someone of safety and someone I want to spend time with and have friendship with.